ABC News presidential debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. As we saw the end there. Henry, go to my iPad. This is all I could think about right there was when Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard, when they were fighting, and Roberto Duran just said, you know what, I'm tired of getting my ass whooped. No mas, no mas. He just waved him off. He was like, you know what, I can't even just, just end this. Let me just go ahead and go home because that's it. That's what this was, y'all. We got 14 CBC members in the House. That was one hell of a debate performance. To my left, Congressman Stephen Horst from Nevada, Chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, Congresswoman Barbara Lee of California, Congressman Gregory Meeks of New York, Alpha Man, also Congressman Horford, Alpha Man, my bad, Congresswoman Joyce Beatty from Ohio, Congressman Bobby Scott from Virginia, Alpha Man. We got Congressman Jim Clyburn of South Carolina, he Omega, but at least he's an Archon. Only takes one, because y'all ain't got that many. And of course, Congresswoman Maxine Waters from California as well. Y'all, we got 7 other CBC members coming up next after this here. Congressman, I'm gonna start with you since you're the chair. Oh my God.
She focused on the American people. She talked about the fact that this debate was about them and their future. This is a clear contrast between two visions for America. She offered clear plans, clear policies that spoke to them. Donald Trump only talked about one person, himself. Over and over again, he kept bringing it to himself. This election is not about him. It's about all of us. And Kamala Harris is a candidate who wants to reach and to lead and to deliver for all Americans, and that's what she talked about. She opened on the economy, bringing down costs. She talked about a woman's right to protect her own freedom to make the healthcare decisions about her body. She talked about immigration and the need to actually address the border crisis and the fentanyl crisis. And it was Donald Trump who walked away from a bipartisan deal that would have solved a problem, but he doesn't want to do that. He wants to keep the problem going. So I think she did a phenomenal job, but it's ultimately the people who will decide this election in 56 days.
Congresswoman Maxine Waters, she called that man disgrace several times to his face. She got under his skin.
She absolutely did, and he fell for the bait because she looked him in the face and said to him what he never thought that he would hear from her. She held her own. You know, I'm so proud of her. The American people got to see what is competence, what public policy is all about. They got to see a leader who was intelligent, a leader who understood the needs of the American people and talked about bringing us together. She had to confront him in a way that most people didn't even know that she would take him on in the way that she did, but she took him on this evening. And she was right there telling him what he was and what he wasn't. As a matter of fact, disgrace is what stood out. She said it more than once. And I think the American people saw that. They understood that when they heard it. And so I'm so proud of her. She has really demonstrated her competence, her intelligence, and she wore him out on international relations. She was brilliant. He couldn't even respond. He couldn't even get in the debate. All he could do is talk about his friend Putin and the fact that, oh, give him a chance, he'll stop everything before he's ever elected. He's never going to be elected again. I'm sitting here this evening and I understand thoroughly, maybe for the first real time, that we have before us the next president of the United States of America, Kamala Harris.
Congressman Clyburn, everybody talked about her need to prosecute him. Damn, did she prosecute him? I don't think he want to see another black female prosecutor in his life.
Absolutely. I think that she acquitted herself very well by prosecuting him extremely well. And I think that the American people got a chance tonight to see the contrast. Are we going to have a future where the dreams and aspirations of their children and grandchildren can be realized, or are we going to spend the next several years in chaos? That's the contrast. I think she showed the American people that we can have tranquility, that we can have opportunity, that we can have freedoms, that we can have an America that all can benefit from. I think that, as Maxine just said, we just saw the first woman president of these United States of America.
I got to go to Congresswoman Lee on that one. I opened up in the beginning. I asked you about the late Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm. I mean, Vice President Harris stayed on the offense constantly. She did not relent. She did not back up. She stayed on offense.
Roland, like Shirley Chisholm, Kamala Harris showed that she's a fighter. She showed tonight that she's a fighter for the people. But she also showed that she was very presidential, that she's prepared, she's experienced, she knows what she's talking about, she has an agenda, and she has integrity. She's authentic, and I think tonight people saw through her authenticity. And they saw that she was a uniter also, and that she's bringing people together. What she saw with Donald Trump, I mean, this man showed his meanness. He showed that he's a fearmonger, that he's divisive, and that he's angry, and that he's full of hate. This country doesn't need hate. This country needs a Kamala Harris to bring us together, and she demonstrated tonight that as president, she will do that. And I agree. I think we witnessed tonight the next president of these United States of America who's going to fight for the people.
Oh, yeah.
Congressman Bobby Scott, when that fool sat there and repeated that Haitian eating animals lie, I mean, right there, you knew how nuts he was. And then he just started flailing. That was at one point, that was one stretch. I don't think anybody knew what the hell he was talking about. Because everybody in the room was kind of like, what was the subject? I mean, he was just all over the place. She completely had him flustered.
In stark contrast to her presentation, which was strong, confident, and on point throughout. He was meandering around and making up lies like on reproductive care, everybody wanted states' rights. No. Civil rights, those who support civil rights never support states' rights. That's the battle cry of the segregationists.
Right.
They wanted states' rights. And she pointed out when you have states' rights, they get to do what they want to do in those states. But there was an overriding theme in the whole thing, and that is how you address a problem. Kamala sees the problem as an opportunity to fix it and make life better for people. He views it as an opportunity to complain, get people all worked up, blame the Democrats, but do nothing. And she caught him on the border. Here you have a problem. He's complaining, blaming the Democrats, complaining. You have a solution. He kills the solution. And then what? Goes back to complaining. Well, no. If you have a problem, you ought to talk about solutions. And in the end, he said, well, she's talking about creating jobs. Why don't you create some jobs? He must have missed the point that this administration has created more jobs in 4 years than any administration in the history of the United States. In fact, they'd broken the record in the first 2 years. So I don't know.
And those were not bounce back jobs.
Exactly.
Well, wait a minute.
He tried to claim they were bounce back jobs.
Let's talk about bounce back. Bounce back from what? Bounce back from a miserable economy.
Right.
I mean, he kind of, by using that term, he kind of gives it away, that it was, in fact, a miserable economy, and we were bouncing back. But we bounced back so much that we created a record in the first 2 years, more jobs after that. We've created more jobs than anybody in history. By the end of this administration, they would have created more jobs in 4 years than any Republican has done in 8.
Congressman Meeks, House Foreign Relations Committee, foreign policy was a huge part of this. He quotes a dictator saying that they want me back. She dog-walked him on Ukraine, on the border, on Putin. I said, did this fool quote Victor Orban? Really?
He did.
It's unbelievable. Look, to me, he seemed old, disoriented, knew no policy, surely didn't know foreign policy. when you're talking about leading, you lead by uniting. NATO is now stronger than ever before. Fact of the matter, when you look at Sweden and Finland is now a part of NATO. That's strength, led by the United States of America. You're not out there by yourself when you say you don't need anybody. That's basically what he was saying. He's confused. When you look at what's taking place on the South Pacific, you see countries coming together, working together against his friend, Vladimir Putin. You see them coming together and working against his boyfriend, Kim Jong-un, in North Korea, who continued to write letters.
They love letters.
Love letters. They're love letters. When you think about, what's taking place in regards to strengthening America, and one of the things that was clear to me, because one of the things that I will never forget, what he called countries on the continent of Africa, when he called them S-hole countries.
No, we have to say shithole nations.
Okay.
Yes.
So what he thinks, and I couldn't help but look at this also, to look at it as a black man, which I think is very important, because he looked at black men only having a certain type of job. And he tried to say, he didn't say black this time, he tried to say African American. But if you listen to what the vice president was talking about, she was talking about creating businesses,
right,
and making sure people had access to capital. As a black man, I want to do a business. I need, what hurts us is access to capital. She's saying, I'm going to put $50,000 up front to give me access. As a black man, that's what I want to do to take care of my family. So she showed real strength and determination on how we can keep our families intact and be proud. She talked about having health care so that and having it affordable. So I don't have to worry about at night how I'm going to take care of my family, because it's being put in place. So she hit all of those elements, whether it was foreign policy and whether it was domestic policy. And as a black man, what will I need to strengthen me and strengthen my family so I can stand up? She spoke for me as a black man.
Congresswoman Beatty, when you have these debates, you could do two things. You could get so much into the weeds on your policy that you ignore fighting back, or you can get so locked in on fighting back on the lies you forget your policy. I thought that was great balance, where it was like, okay, let me knock his ass out, come back to my plan. And it was also an uplifting plan. Everything for him was horrible, pathetic. It was all doom and gloom, as opposed to what is hopeful or what is promising.
Absolutely. Tonight, I've never been prouder. She answered so many things. We saw tonight what a presidential candidate should look like. We saw her scholarship, we saw her temperament, but we also saw that she's a fighter, that she would stand up to the American people and she wouldn't run away. I'm so proud to join my colleagues and hold this sign tonight, because the number one thing we've been hearing across all of our states, who is Kamala Harris? Well, tonight, she answered that question. She answered what we already know. We've had the pleasure to serve with her in Congress. She's a member of the Congressional Black Caucus. She swore all of us in when she became vice president. She came to the caucus and the Congress and talked about the issues. But tonight, she fought for the American people. And what I really liked about it, she looked directly in the camera. She didn't play to the set or to Donald Trump. She spoke to the American people and she gave them hope. She told them that she would fight for all of our freedoms. She talked to women. She talked international policy and foreign policy. There was not a topic that she wasn't able to articulate. And as you said, it was clear she could get in the weeds with data and fact, but she came right out of it and spoke to the everyday people. She has a plan. He had no plan. He has no policies. He even admitted, well, I got a concept or two. And the more he talked, the more we saw that the discriminating and discriminatory things that he would say. And we saw her standing up for the people.
We have a second CBC panel. I'm going to throw this out, and everybody can make their final comments. But y'all serve in Congress. Did that fool say he saved the Affordable Care Act? Did I hear?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, he did.
What? he did everything to try to kill it.
Exactly.
60 times.
Yeah.
Everything.
And Project 2025 would kill Medicare, Social Security, defund the Department of Education.
But he said he doesn't know anything about it. He doesn't want to read it.
When somebody gives you a playbook, like Coach Wall says, they plan to use it.
Exactly.
They've written 900 pages of a playbook, and they plan to use it. That's why the American people, it's incumbent upon us to make sure he never has the opportunity to implement that plan.
Well, let me just say what struck me, among other things, was when he talked about all of our enemies, how much they like him, Putin and Kim Jong-un. She said, yeah, because they know they can manipulate you.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
You talked about health care. He did have a plan to replace Obamacare. CBO scored it, reviewed it. It would increase costs 20% the first year. 20-some million fewer people would have insurance. If you have a pre-existing condition, you start losing your protection, and the insurance you get probably going to be worse than what you have because it didn't have essential benefits. That's the kind of situation he had. And we talked about jobs. We had the record jobs. They had the worst job performance in about 100 years. Their economy was one where you had ended up with long lines to the food bank. And when was the last time you had trouble finding toilet paper? During his great economy. I mean, calling it a great economy doesn't make it a great economy. He had the worst economy in modern history. And so the stark contrast of her accomplishments and her confident, strong, on-point description of what she's going to do, and his meandering, mostly lies, can't understand what he's talking about anyway, I think is a strong contrast in what we're talking about.
You started out saying that to you, this was like Roberto Duran saying no mas. I will end with this. This was a thriller and a chiller with Kamala and the gorilla. And it ended up with a TKO by the next president of the United States of America.
You like a good fight.
Well, you want to file that, Congressman Clyburn?
How are you going to call me on after that?
Okay.
I know the Leo Beatty.
I tell you.
Oh, you let it. But I will say this. In spite of what they may say to the contrary, I want all of you listeners to spend a little time Googling Project 2025. Over 100 people who work for him put that project together.
Yeah.
And he's already congratulated the guy who's supervising.
And said he's going to hire him.
And said he's going to hire him
Yeah.
in his administration. On the first night of the convention, I spoke and I called Project 2025 what I know it to be, Jim Crow 2.0.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, you know, so many people have lost hope as a result of COVID, Donald Trump, all of the issues that we know historically that has started really as a result of Donald Trump's presidency. But tonight, I think people feel hopeful. They feel optimistic. Donald Trump was pessimistic. He was dark. He went down low. And that contrast was stark. And finally, I'll just say, sometimes people wonder about our democracy, what it all means. She laid it out in terms of our freedoms.
Absolutely.
And that's what's at risk right now. And I think people understand now the importance of this election and know why they have to get organized and make sure that we vote and everyone votes, especially in battleground states and all through the country, because this election is really about preserving our freedoms also. And she laid that out very clearly.
So let me say, I echo everything my colleagues have said, but what we saw tonight was someone who went into a debate knowing that it was kicked off with some 44,000 black women standing with her, white dudes standing with her, the brothers, the Divine Nine. You can pick any group. And what she did tonight was talked about our democracy, fighting for the soul of this nation, protecting our freedoms. So the only thing I have to say to end with this is, American people, go vote. Because now the message was sent to us and it's up to us. Go vote.
You can make a final comment. Go ahead.
I just want to speak to the brothers who are under 50 years old, because I understand that they don't feel that this politics is for them right now, and that a lot of the issues on both sides of the aisle, they're like, well, what about me? When it comes to the cost of rent, when it comes to the cost of childcare, when it comes to the cost of utilities and groceries, we need to understand who is for us and who is against us. And Kamala Harris has offered a plan, a set of policies, a set of issues that speak directly to all of us, including black men. And we have an opportunity to fight for our families, to fight for our communities, and to make sure that our perspective is heard in this election too. And we're not going to be counted out.
That's right.
Black men, we're going to show up because we understand that this election is about us. And the vice president spoke to us tonight when she mentioned the Central Park Five.
Yep.
That's right.
And it was Donald Trump who tried to destroy those 5 black men. And it's Kamala Harris who's speaking to the soul of black men and black America. And we need to make sure that we turn out and have our voices heard.
And he never apologized
Never.
to them.
Matter of
to this
fact,
day.
back in the last election, he doubled down.
He doubled down. Even after they were
Right.
exonerated.
Roland Martin,
Go
thank
ahead.
you.
Thank you, Rose.
Thank you
Thank
for
you, Roland.
having us here in your studio. Thank you for persisting in being a voice in this country, no matter what it takes. Thank you for being our talking drum. I'm delighted to be here in this wonderful setting with you in charge.
Hey.
I appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Rose.
Let me say this. I don't know if other CBC members are here, but let me say this here. So last week was our 6th anniversary. And y'all could have done your watch party anywhere, so I appreciate y'all coming to the studio. But this needs to be said, and I actually opened the show this way tonight. And so I wish the other members were here, but I think they all left. And I opened it this way. The only reason we are here tonight is because the Black Caucus stayed firm. There are people who are watching. There are people they bitch and they moan, and I hear people, they complain. The caucus don't do this, don't do that. But the reality is, white Democratic power brokers were trying to skip over that woman tonight.
Yes.
They were hell-bent on having an open convention, an open process.
Oh, we know that.
I ain't got a problem saying it.
We know where that came from, too.
That's right.
And I ain't got a problem saying it. That was only one.
right.
See,
That's right.
there was only
I had
one
to take that,
CBC
too.
member that defected.
That's right.
But I need everybody watching and listening.
That's
the
right.
Black Caucus held firm.
That's right.
And they
That's
tried
right.
to break y'all.
That's
They
right.
sure did.
And if they had broken the Black Caucus,
That's right.
She would.
she would not have been on
Right.
that stage
Come on,
tonight.
talk to me.
So
Right.
everybody
That's
watching
right.
owes y'all a debt of gratitude for holding
That's right.
firm, because that's what made it possible.
Glad
so we
you
appreciate
recognize
it.
that,
We
brother.
appreciate y'all.
Thank you for saying.
We appreciate
That's
y'all.
right.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate
That's
it.
right.
Yes, sir. We gonna, hey, folks, our panel's gonna come in. So let's do this here. Go to a quick commercial break. We're gonna bring in our panel for our conversation. Y'all know we're about to bring the funk. You're watching the Black Star Network live coverage of the ABC presidential debate. Back in a moment.
He told us who he was.
Should abortion be punished?
There has to be some form of punishment.
Then he showed us.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it, and I'm proud to have done it.
Now Donald Trump wants to go further with plans to restrict birth control, ban abortion nationwide, even monitor women's pregnancies. We know who Donald Trump is. He'll take control. We'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
IVF is a miracle for us because it allowed us to have our family. After having my daughter, I wanted more children, but my embryo transfer was canceled 8 days before the procedure. Donald Trump overturning Roe v. Wade stopped us from growing the family that we wanted. I don't want politicians telling me how or when I can have a baby. We need a president that will protect our rights, and that's Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is roland@rolandsmartin.com.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems.
Oh, she had a big crowd. Oh, the crowd.
This weird obsession with crowd sizes. It just goes on and on and on. America's ready for a new chapter. We are ready for a President Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
As an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol, we've seen shooting.
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear.
In 2016, Donald Trump said he would choose only the best people to work in his White House. Now those people have a warning for America. Trump is not fit to be president again. Here's his vice president.
Anyone who puts himself over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. It should come as no surprise that I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year.
His defense secretary.
Do you think Trump can be trusted with the nation's secrets ever again?
No. I mean, it's just irresponsible action that places our service members at risk, places our nation's security at risk.
His national security advisor.
Donald Trump will cause a lot of damage. The only thing he cares about is Donald Trump.
And the nation's highest-ranking military officer.
We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator.
Take it from the people who knew him best. Donald Trump is a danger to our troops and our democracy. We can't let him lead our country again.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Next on the Black Tape with me, Greg Carr. There's a lot of talk about the inevitability of another civil war in this country. But on our next show, we'll talk to a noted author and scholar who says we're actually in the middle of one right now. In fact, Steve Phillips says the first one that started back in 1861, well, it never ended.
People carrying the Confederate flag, wearing sweatshirts saying MAGA Civil War, January 6, 2021, stormed the U.S. Capitol, hunted down the country's elected officials, built a gallows for the Vice President of the United States, and to block the peaceful transfer of power in this country.
On the next Black Tape, here on the Black Star Network.
The overturning of Roe almost killed me. I had a blood clot in my uterus that caused my labor to have to be induced because of the overturn of Roe v. Wade. I wasn't able to get life-saving treatment sooner. I almost died. And that's because of the decision that Donald Trump made.
I was able to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I'm proud to have done it.
The doctors and nurses were afraid that if they treated me in the incorrect way, that they would be prosecuted for that. And that's appalling. Donald Trump says that women should be punished.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion?
There has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah.
I believe that women should have reproductive freedom to make the choices about their own bodies. 4 more years of Donald Trump means that women's rights will continue to be taken away one by one by one by one. This has to stop because women are dying.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
On the next Get Wealthy with me, Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, are you trying to figure out how to earn more revenue in your business during these volatile times? Learn how to tap into the largest marketplace in the world through government contracting. Our next guest, Akia Hardnett, will be sharing how you can get wealthy through government contracting.
We've got a young lady, government assistance to government contracts. She literally was on government assistance when she came to us, and in less than a year, she has been winning multiple government contracts, and it has changed the trajectory of her family.
That's right here, only on Black Star Network.
What's good, y'all? This is Doug E. Fresh, and you're watching my brother Roland Martin Unfiltered as we go a little something like this. Hit it. It's real.
We are live back at the Black Star Network post-debate coverage. Rebecca Carruthers, Fair Election Center, Monique Presley, of course, lawyer, all that stuff. Dr. Greg Carr, Howard University. We have Mustafa Santiago Ali. We got Mark Thompson over here. We got Reese Colbert. We got Gumbo Queen, Dr. Nola Haynes here as well. Scott Bolden, you know, he can't stay up past 9:30, so he was only in the pre-show. So glad to have everybody here.
He did take a plate.
Yes,
You think I can take a plate with me?
He took a plate. He took a plate with him. He real black. He real black. He took a plate. Right.
He asked.
But you know he can't eat past 8 o'clock, so he's going to have lunch tomorrow. So, you know.
But I have my chicken wing right here.
Yeah, I see you got your chicken wing right over there.
For the break.
I'm going to need somebody to bring one of them red velvet cake cupcakes. Let's go ahead and get started. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
One of y'all could just jump out. All I can say is, if this, remember the movie Friday?
Yeah.
When my man said, you got knocked the fuck out. That's what we saw.
Lunch. That is my line of the night. She said they gonna eat you for lunch, sir.
Yeah, she did.
Y'all go ahead.
Did you at least pinch the bitch?
Huh?
Did you at least pinch the bitch? Yes, Players Club.
Not a lick was laid on Vice President Kamala Harris. She was bobbing and weaving up in the motherfucker.
Hold on, let me be real black. Cynthia, I need some water with some ice. Go ahead.
Wow. So here's the thing.
Yes, sir. That's black.
Here's the thing. I tweeted, if you have never seen what it looks like to over-deliver, this is your night. And that might not be even exactly what I said because I was a little excited, but over-delivery was my theme. And I was really just talking to myself because for Reese and I especially, I don't know for how many more, we're way back, like,
oh my goodness.
OG K-Hive story. What has happened, Roland? Interrupt me,
hold
please.
On,
Tell the story.
He probably just seen what we saw.
It's obvious something has happened.
He just seen it.
Lord,
I want to.
Lord, the white woman has spoken.
We already know.
What white woman?
It's over.
Taylor Swift. Which one?
Taylor Swift.
Come on, Taylor.
Hold on, she is.
Childless cat lady.
Yeah.
She is 20. She is. Y'all go to my.
Read the signature, Roland.
Hold on.
Read how she signed it, Roland.
Hold on. Let me go to her thing. Hold on. Let's
Weak
see
and wrong.
here.
And they brought you a cupcake
She waited
too, man.
till there was no doubt. There's a red velvet cupcake. I got my chicken leg. What is
Wow.
I want some water too.
Where did she say? Was it on Instagram? She signed it.
Instagram.
Wow.
It's
Okay, 'cause I'm on Twitter. All right, let me. Y'all go ahead and talk. Let me pull it up.
So let me say, what I meant when I said over delivery was I had posted today saying, y'all are drunk. This is what she does. I expect her to be proficient. I expect her to be efficient. Sure. She's a trial lawyer. She's an attorney general. She's a senator. She's a vice president. She's a black woman. You're going to see all those things. So I expected them. What I got was, no, we're on the playground, and he said he want to fight.
Right.
And I'm here ready to fight, and he playing.
Right.
So I'm going to fight anyway. That's what I got now. I got, oh, you don't want this round, but I still want this round. Like, nobody likes you. I turned to Reese during the debate, and I said, she said nobody likes him. Like, no, you don't do that unless you really, like, you trying to fight where you live. When she said and we
when
were
she
an
paused,
hour and 20 minutes.
when she paused, she want to say this motherfucker. You know.
She said this.
And held it.
She let us fill in our blank. And then she said
former president. So let me
everybody, okay.
Let me read this here.
Go ahead.
So
What
y'all
is
go to my
that?
iPad, Henry. This dropped 23 minutes ago. Taylor Swift holding a cat.
Oh my God.
Like many of you, I watched the debate tonight. If you haven't already, now's a great time to do your research on the issues at hand and the stances these candidates take on the topics that matter to you the most. As a voter, I make sure to watch and read everything I can about their proposed policies and plans for this country. Recently, I was made aware that AI of me falsely endorsing Donald Trump's presidential run was posted to his site. It really conjured up my fears around AI and the dangers of spreading misinformation. It brought me to the conclusion that I need to be very transparent about my actual plans for this election as a voter. The simplest way to combat misinformation is with the truth. I will be casting my vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the 2024 presidential election. I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she fights for the rights and causes I believe need a warrior to champion them. And I think she's a steady-handed, gifted leader, and I believe we can accomplish so much more in this country if we are led by calm and not chaos. I was so heartened and impressed by her selection of running mate Tim Walz, who has been standing up for LGBTQ plus rights, IVF, and a woman's right to her own body for decades. I've done my research, and I've made my choice. Your research is all yours to do, and the choice is yours to make. I also want to say, especially to first-time voters, remember that in order to vote, you have to be registered. I also find it's much easier to vote early. I'll link where to register and find early voting sites and info in my story. With love and hope, Taylor Swift, childless cat lady.
Come on.
Damn. Now, that's a whole lot of pettiness and shade, Rebecca, in one post.
Pettiness, shade, and messaging.
So I know a lot of people are excited about what we just seen tonight. So there are some people who are looking for a policy
Hold on, before you go there. 1.7 million hearts, 180,000 comments. Go ahead. That's huge.
So there are some people who tonight they wanted to see a straight the policy debate.
Yeah.
With the two candidates that you had on stage, especially if you are a candidate that's going up against a candidate like Donald Trump, it's hard to have a straight policy conversation because he is incapable of having a policy conversation. I was going back to the 2016 debates between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. She tried to stay on policy, but it didn't work as well. When we go to 2012 and we look at Biden and we look at...
Biden and Ryan.
No, Romney.
You said 2012.
Romney, 2012.
Obama and Romney.
Sorry, when we look at Obama and Romney, we saw that was a strong policy debate. When we go back even to the 80s was the time when we saw Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan performed similar to Trump, where they are both, they're not going to be strong on policy. So I was getting a lot of texts from people saying, hey, where's the policy? Where's the substance? They weren't answering the question. Unfortunately, tonight, this wasn't that type of debate. Tonight was a character debate. It was about who are you comfortable with leading this country over the next 4 years. And so I just want to take a step back to reframe what tonight actually was, especially for viewers out there who wanted to hear a lot of policy. That wasn't what tonight was about. It was about who should move the country forward over the next 4 years, who has the character to move the country over the next 4 years. And so tonight you saw a clash of two different characters.
But Mark, what was, again, brilliant is she did exactly what, for the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've been saying you have to do. You got to hit his ass on lies, but then pivot back to your stuff. You can't get so bogged down in playing his game. When she brought up the crowd size, his dumb ass, he fell for it.
She served it like a DeBaby wants a bottle, and he took it.
And hold up, let me go back. Yeah. She brought up my crowd size. Yeah. That ad, y'all, pull the ad. This was the ad the Harris campaign dropped today that they ran in Palm Beach on Fox News, knowing full well he, sitting in Mar-a-Lago, was going to see this ad. Roll it.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems.
Oh, she had a big crowd. Oh, the crowd.
This weird obsession with crowd sizes. It just goes on and on and on. America's ready for a new chapter. We are ready for a President Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
All right. Brilliant.
Brilliant, and she definitely got under his skin. But while I agree this was not much policy, it was just enough, especially at the beginning. Because you saw in some of the man-on-the-street interviews that these trifling networks are doing, because they got to make the woman do more than she's supposed to be doing. Some of the people saying we don't have no pot. So she came out in her first response, talked about what I'm going to do for middle-class families. That's it. That ended it. Then she could focus on pushing his buttons, which she did. Because when you push his buttons, remember we were here before. Biden pushed one button. If Biden had just done that, remember when he said the presidential scholars say you're the worst president in history? He lost it. You got to push those buttons. She did that. She exposed him for what he was. He was rambling. Even got him talking about eating pets. I mean, and I think even people who want to be with him, when they heard that, they were like, dude, come on, man. That's just...
But here's the deal, though. I would slightly disagree. There was a lot more policy.
There was a lot.
Reese, what she was doing was, again, it was classic boxing. Stick and move.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You stick and move. Absolutely. You don't sit here and stay on the ropes. Yeah. She tagged his ass, back to her stuff. And she kept uplifting. She refused to get bogged down in trying to respond to all his silliness.
Yeah. Well, Kamala Harris came to debate Donald Trump. Donald Trump came to debate miscellaneous motherfucker. It could have been anybody.
Anybody.
Literally,
she had to actually say, you ain't running against Joe, you running against me.
Or Obama.
She said, I'm not Joe Biden, and I'm definitely not Donald goddamn Trump.
That's right.
And so that is where it was light work for her. I overestimated him because I felt like, well, he might come with specifics. And remember, Dr. Carr was saying this, if he attacks her on the specifics of her record, then we have to make sure that she's prepared for that. He was making up shit the whole time. Yeah. And the thing that makes attacks more powerful is if you are leaning into things that people have heard. He was all over the place. Cats and shit. What was he even talking about? Some of the stuff he was talking about was like, if I'm hearing it, if you're breaking news on the debate, you're losing. Because the way that you lie is to lie about things that people have heard 100 times, not introduce a new lie. And so he was incompetent, he was unhinged, he was confusing, he was illogical, he was out of control, he was small, he was diminished. And Vice President Kamala Harris was a boss bitch on that stage. She did not back down. She walked over. She said, let's have a good debate. She looked him in his eye. She had her hands up. She was in command from A to Z.
They trying to pull up the beginning of the debate too, because I want to show people. She walked over. They trying to pull that up.
She said, "Well, right here."
Right, keep going.
And I just want to point out, in policy, she talked about the receipts. She talked about Trump's incompetence. She talked about how he wasn't liked, how his people don't respect him, and how
right here. So you see right here, she walked over to his podium and was like, "Yeah, okay, I'm about to light that ass up."
Yeah.
That was.
So she attacked
and start smiling.
That was the beginning and the end.
She dismantled every single strong man, effective talking point that he has tried to run on, and he didn't even land a punch that is specific to her. If you just want to say the regular shit about any miscellaneous Democrat, sure, he said that. It didn't land well, but he did not get anything on Kamala Devi Harris. That was the candidate on stage.
That was the one.
And that's who he needed to try to stick, and he did not do that.
Nothing.
A+.
Nothing.
Kamala Harris.
So Eric Erickson, who is big time conservative, he's not really a fan of Trump, but listen, he's a hardcore conservative. He was whining and complaining during the debate about the moderators not fact checking her. This is the tweet, Henry, go to it, that he posted. Trump lost the debate, and whining about the moderators doesn't change it. He didn't lose because of their behavior. He lost because of his own performance while his lips were moving, not theirs.
Praise God.
Frank, I'm gonna pull up in a second. Frank Luntz said, Republicans are blowing my phone up about the moderators. He said, that means they're losing.
That means. So they're gonna have Nikki Haley now be the new nominee?
I mean, they are. I mean, right now, Mustafa, they are. I mean, Megyn Kelly was. If I show y'all some of her tweets, Mustafa, I'm talking about these folk have been outside their minds angry because they were complaining about everything. When, as I say, when you're complaining about the refs, you're losing.
They know they're on a sinking ship. They've known that for a little while, and tonight, actually just verified that for them.
No.
They know that they don't have policies that the majority of the country resonates with, that is going to help to improve their lives. And they were hoping that in this particular moment, that Trump would do something different. The difference would have been to stick on policy and to be able to move forward in a way that the country saw themselves reflected in that. And he was not able to do that. He's not able to do that because he doesn't know policy. He doesn't know how to read.
Right. Well, and he ain't got no policy.
Exactly.
He doesn't have solutions. He has policies, but he doesn't have solutions.
Yeah, but here's the deal. He couldn't even offer the policies.
No, he didn't do that.
Throughout this debate, Greg, the other debate.
He has a concept.
What you heard was he kept every time. The border, they're letting millions in, and crime in those countries is going down. And I mean, that was his thing. And this is why I'm telling you, last night by midnight, when Ron Brownstein sent me that, I said, no, Ron, she should not deal with immigration and crime because that's playing right into his hands. And so what she did was, and it was perfect. It was perfect when the immigration, and she said, and this man called Republicans and said, don't sign it. And then he kept whining, well, why don't she go back and sign something? I'll go with her. Why don't they go back and sign something? They can't sign nothing because you told Republicans don't pass the bill. She boxed him in, and all he had was these crazy deranged people. And then what did he do? He went right back to white fear. They're coming into our towns, Springfield and Aurora. And he was calling all these white towns. He was trying to push the buttons, and it was like, bruh, you suck at this.
Or he was rallying his troops. I mean, it was a 12-round fight, 12 rounds of questions, with a closing statement being the 13th. Shout out to Lindsey Davis, by the way.
Shout.
Who in round 3,
Lindsey.
immigration.
Lindsey.
It was actually round 2, on reproductive rights. She said, no, it's nobody that does that. But it seemed, I'm sitting here, immigration was very interesting. She turned it to the crowd size. That's when he lost his mind. That's when the dog eating came up around 3 on immigration. When she did that on the rallies and the people leaving board.
Everybody at home, y'all can see Greg took notes.
No,
he got index
I'm
cards.
not trying to front. I can't keep it in my head. You know what I'm saying? But then in round 4,
see
well,
the extent of
law
the
school,
notes.
that's how they teach us how to outline,
Like
right? No,
these are little, even on these little note cards, the writing is real small.
That's OCD.
It's a manuscript.
Anyway, no, but round 4 in fracking, the line, it's a close second to the dog eating. But I love this. Transgender operations on illegal aliens.
That was.
I'm like, that's some National Enquirer shit. You know,
Well, so here's what happened. So the K file on CNN, they pulled that up. They claimed in 2019 she called for that. And so Erin Burnett was on CNN last night, and she was like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" And so Megyn Kelly and all the others, so they've been running with that.
Oh.
And so what he did, he heard it, and he just immediately ran with it.
He is.
And so that's where that came from.
I see. Well,
so they claim that's what she was supporting in 2019.
Well, just a couple more. I mean, of course, having the dictators endorse you, but in round 6, election denial, she hit him with the fire by 81 million people, which took him out. The Israel-Hamas, she gave the answer she had to give. Thought it was interesting, but at the same time, when she then said that he said Putin endorsed her, he's like, no, Putin endorsed him. And that's when she said the love letters from Kim. But of course, Afghanistan, round 10, that pause, but it came after she had said, all your commanders hate you. They are disgusted by you.
And reminded people, tomorrow is September 11th.
Yes.
And reminded people, you wanted to bring them to Camp David.
And you brought them to Camp. That was what triggered this.
And then here's what happened.
Yeah,
then his response was, well, the guy who's still in charge, you know, he like in that moment, he was like, oh shit, at that point, he was like, shit, where do I go?
But this is the thing, and 2 Nixon moments came to my mind. One was the bring us together. She did that at the beginning. She was clearly, I'm the representative of the American people. And you're the representative of the white nationalists.
And said, I've been a DA, Attorney General, U.S. Senator, and Vice President, and the only people I've ever worked for
didn't have no D or no R, no question. And I'm a gun owner, me and Tim Walsh.
Hold up, everybody was, wait a minute, everybody in the room went.
I got distracted.
I mean, the whole room went. She owned a gun?
No, the whole church went left.
That's right.
That was where we all went.
No, but got me when she said the whole room went. She got a gun?
She got a gun? Right.
She has talked about that before, but it was perfect time.
It was a perfect time to bring it up.
Right. No question. But the other Nixon kind of evocation, Nixon versus Kennedy.
It was.
When they messed up Nixon's makeup, Donald Trump broke out in the sweat around round 7, and it was getting worse and worse and worse. And so the contrast was clear. The only question I have, and we were sitting here, Monique and I talking about, who was the audience? Yeah. Trump performed off the charts for his crazy audience. He did that.
Right.
Voter turnout's going to be important. Voter suppression, we had to worry about that. But as we were sitting here, who is the audience? For those people, if there are some undecideds, she came out very strong tonight.
Nola, here's what I thought. Here's what I thought was also, and Reese and I actually commented on that. So they had the rules. They had the rules where, okay, we're going to turn the mics off, which clearly they didn't follow. Right. Because they kept turning the mics back on.
Why didn't they turn the mic off? They had that discretion. They said that.
But my problem is,
they did.
Okay,
ABC had that.
Don't turn the damn mic on. His ass keep talking. I'm sorry. But hold on. But here's what I thought in the first 30 minutes, and this was proper debate training, because the mics were off. She gave killer non-verbal communication.
That's right.
First, he never looked at her in the debate.
Never.
And she tried and tried.
Two, she kept turning to him. She kept pointing to him. And then when I forgot what it was when she went.
Yeah, the look of concern.
He said,
when she was about Israel.
Yeah. Right.
And her daddy. Right. It was all of that. She's a Marxist.
He says a Marxist. But the reason,
she said,
the reason why I thought that was important, because the greatest mistake I felt with Biden June 27th is he didn't do what Biden used to do. Biden, when you would start lying, he would just break out in this smile. He would shake his head. He did none of that. She used she knew there was a split screen, and she was very effective using non-verbal skills to communicate while he was talking.
Absolutely, 1,000%. So I saw this through, not just through my national security foreign policy lens, I saw this through the lens of somebody who grew up on movie sets.
Yes.
I saw this through the lens of a woman who comes from California debating a performer, right? Because that's what he is, right? He's an entertainment guy in that, you know, a circus like entertainment guy, right? Not a serious entertainment guy. So the approach I felt was to be animated, right? You understand how to use your body. You understand the audience. All of the assignments were absolutely understood in this performance. It was a balance of performing, and let's just keep that a buck, and there's nothing wrong with it.
That's the look right here.
Trump does.
Here, go to my iPad. That's the look right there. She like, really?
Yep. Exactly.
Really?
Exactly. She understood the assignment, and Trump, to my mind, is a person who shows up. I'm gonna use a play as an example, right? So you show up to a play, and your ego is driving you, and you're saying you're off book when you're really not off book. But the person who comes prepared, who is off book, who did the work, who put that time in, she came off book, she came prepared, honey, and she hit all those marks.
Off book.
And he showed up.
Taking notes.
And he thought that he knew all the things, that he didn't have to do the preparation, honey, and she showed up and she performed. It was a beautiful balance of policy. I loved how she handled Afghanistan. I genuinely loved how she handled Afghanistan. I was texting with someone in my community whose opinion that means a great deal to me, and he was lit. He was excited. He was like all the points that she hit, you know, because
including the history.
All of it, you know, like she did such a great job. Was there some kind of like reservations about Israel and Palestine? What I will say about this is, she is still the Vice President of the United States.
That's right.
She's not the President of the United States. And I am not saying that as a scapegoat sort of answer. That's a very real statement. So a lot of these policies, she still is the Vice President of the United States. She's not yet the President, right? So a lot of this we don't know yet. But I think she did a great job in saying, you know, two-state solution, permanent ceasefire, release the hostages. But again,
self-determination.
I mean, every time the moderators try to get her to say how do you differ with Biden, she can't because she's the vice president.
Absolutely.
Well, at the end, though, she said, I am not Joe Biden. I'm not Donald Trump. That was
exactly.
right.
But she wouldn't take the bait in terms of trying to do the contrast because in reality, he's still president. Rebecca Geraldo Rivera, if you love Trump, you should be rattled tonight. VP Harris, go to my iPad. VP Harris came ready to stand toe-to-toe. He has attitude and scorn, but she seems more thoughtful and presidential. And and she's not afraid of
not 100, not one bit.
Rebecca?
So for the voter that is tuning in post-Labor Day and starting to get, okay, you know, maybe it's time to vote. I think there's an election that's going on. If you were watching that tonight as that voter, then completely Kamala Harris won tonight. She looked presidential. She is presidential. Forensically, she did a good job. And so when we're thinking about those voters, like the question earlier was, who was the audience?
Who is it?
If the audience is those voters, then she did what she needed to do to start persuading those voters of, hey, you got two choices. It's me, it's him. Who are you going to choose?
Good point.
I'm quite sure over at Fox News, One American News, Newsmax, they are losing their minds. Folks, this right here was Britt Hume tonight on Fox News. Turn my audio up in the studio.
Look, make no mistake about it. Trump had a bad night. He rose to the bait repeatedly when she baited him, something I'm sure his advisors had begged him not to do. You know, in the first debate when Biden attacked him, he just kept his cool and kept going. And this debate, he rose to debating, and we heard so many of the old grievances that we'd long thought that Trump had learned were not winners politically. And there they all were, you know, talking about how he didn't lose the election and all that. I mean, so my sense is that she came out of this in pretty good shape. Now, how long this will last and is anybody's guess. But for tonight, at least, this was pretty much her night.
You're saying she had a good night?
I'm saying she certainly did.
Sean Hannity.
And
the thing, go ahead.
No, what I was going to say, I look at this as a debater.
Yeah.
And a lot of debate is psychology. And so what I saw when I watched her was surgery. Because there were things from the opening salvo, from the ball up, poop, there were decisions.
Yep, absolutely.
And there were words. And she was not looking at notes, but she knew weak.
Weak and wrong.
Disgrace.
Yep.
Wrong. Crowd size. Backward. She was rolling through a litany, and so her theme about not going back, she didn't even come to that till the end. What she kept doing through the better part of the debate was and confused, because her job, as she understood it, was, if we're prize fighting, I'm not trying to take him out. I'm not going for his head. I'm doing body blows.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. Body blows. I know what he hates. I know what he can't resist. And I was standing next to Reese when she served up. Like, she gave it the kind of offering like, baby, do you want a spot of butter? Do you want a piece of bread? And when she offered that, and he could not resist it.
Yeah.
Like, there was nothing in him that could allow her to say that his crowds were smaller.
That's right.
There was nothing.
And then she went, and they start leaving early.
Because it's boring.
Because you're boring.
Was
Damn, she was like, let me just turn that.
But there were so many times, and what I guess
they're exhausted.
The only thing I'm offering out of that is, I would hope people recognize that all of that was her. Like, when she says, when we fight, we win, she came in and she knew, I don't know what these people are looking for, but I'm in the playground.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna punch him in his face.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna dare him to come back for more. And if he comes back, I got 3 more after this. And that was all she did. All she did was boom, boom, boom. All she was doing was fighting.
Yeah.
And then every time she turned to, because she did that and she looked at him. I don't know if people noticed, when she was fighting, she looked at him. When she was offering information, she looked at us. Yeah. She looked dead on, as Congresswoman Beatty said, she, like when she was looking at the people.
Her debate training was on point.
Her
debate
was training.
Hold on.
No, but mister,
Before
her
you-
debate training
I want you to finish something.
Her debate training was from high school. Her debate training was college. Her debate training was learning how to be a trial lawyer. I taught people how to do this. I don't believe anybody who trained her for this debate against that uncircumcised Philistine. She was David. She was David tonight. No, I'm gonna go with the Bible. I'm gonna go with the Bible. I don't believe that David learned how to debate trying to figure out how to beat Trump. Kamala learned how to debate when it was bears, when it was lions, when it was cubs. She learned back at Howard how you take somebody down when they coming for you. She came in and she walked across the stage and shook his hand. That's when she was saying, "This my house."
That's right. That's right.
So you invited.
Talk about
Mark, go ahead.
You a guest. I'm sorry, mister. I'm sorry,
when
mister.
you talk about
Go ahead.
when she
I'm
opened
excited. Girl,
talk about when she opened the doors of the church. Talk about when she opened the doors of the church.
Right. That was a moment when she started. When
if
she
there
got.
are any of you
Is there one?
who are tired,
Please, ma'am, please, sir.
come to me, ye who are heavily
will,
laden.
won't you come?
If you don't want this,
Hold on.
Come
She's
here.
not Jesus.
No. Wait. No.
Not Jesus.
No. Here's an important point.
She said, "Come in."
No, here's an important point. What she did there was, again, It is a tool that black people know.
That black
That's right.
people
What she
understand.
did
The doors of the church are now open.
That's exactly what she
That's
did.
what it was.
The doors
in fact, no, follow me. Now follow me here. When I was standing right there, nearly every black person went church.
Got it.
I'm telling you, we know. And when she did that, that's called elevating.
Oh, yeah.
Matter of fact, go to my iPad.
She went.
This is what church girl Latasha Brown said. This wasn't a debate. This was a declaration of leadership.
That's right.
Roland.
Reese, hold on, Reese.
Okay.
No, well, to Monique's point, I mean, she paced herself.
Yeah.
She did. She did.
It wasn't like, let me get all this shit
right.
out. She said, look, I'm gonna take your ass down, and then when you're not expecting it, punch your ass with something else. And she ticked every single thing off of his triggered checklist. And it was surgical, to your point, and it was easy. It was effortless.
It was light work.
Because he doesn't have the capacity to do anything more than what we saw him do. And we've been seeing him not be able to answer how you gonna bring down the cost of child care. The moderators, who I thought did a good job, especially Lindsay Davis.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank
you, David.
They tried to almost even help him out a little bit. Not to be biased, but to say, well, recently you admitted to something you should have fucking admitted to 4 years ago when you lost. They said I was being sarcastic. So even when he had the opportunity, even when they set it up for him to answer the question successfully, he failed. And even when they set up a question to trip up Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, she excelled at it. And so this really was a declaration of leadership. And I think to the point that I made pre-debate is we're gonna see, is she going to galvanize her base, or is she going to just run straight down the middle? And I think she did both. I think that she was inviting without seeming like without coming across as a person who doesn't have convictions, like a person who's going to back down from the tough conversations. She didn't say I'm a black woman, but I think, and that was my only thing, if I had to knock down out of 100 points, I give her 99 out of 100. I'm not complaining. But I still I like that she addressed the fact. She got everything else in the script that I had, which is talk about how he talked about Mexicans are rapists, talk about how he pulled out a full-page ad on the Central Park 5, and talk about his history of racism without calling him a racist. And so there are times when she talked about reproductive rights, when she talked about certain issues, where she leaned in on the base, and she did it in a way that is not alienating to others. And so she hit all the points.
And don't forget when she said, when the ballot initiatives passed, Ohio, red state. Kansas, red state. Because remember, earlier he tried to claim at the ballot initiatives passed, liberal voters turned out. She like, let me about the red state. You just said something in terms of how she made it look easy. This is Stuart Stevens. He's with the Lincoln Project. Of course, they work with many Republican candidates, and he said simple. Wow, the VP did what great athletes can do: make the incredibly difficult look easy.
She made it look easy.
You know, she did a couple of things. You know, you had Donald Trump walk into that room feeling that he had the ability to bully and to be this larger-than-life individual, and you watched him shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink. So, yes, surgically, she deconstructed who he was, his personality.
It was 1 point. I'm talking.
Right.
He said, does that sound familiar? Yeah, it did, bitch.
And it was dead in the room.
In my head every day.
That's only one part.
In fact, keep talking. This also is a Lincoln Project tweet right here. Go right ahead. Now keep talking.
Well,
it's a photo.
That part is important. The other part that is equally as important, and we've got to stay focused on this, is that she also brought hope back into the conversation. Yes. And she reached out and let people know that you have a place here. This is a home. This is a family. And I'm inviting you into this space. And she also made sure that she brought forward policies that are incredibly important, not just in the battleground states, but in many locations across our country. When she brought forward her new policy on $25,000 for someone to be able to purchase a home, if you live in Washington, D.C., that might not seem like a lot. But if you live in Western Pennsylvania, that's a significant down payment.
She said that up front. She said that up front.
$50,000 for new businesses, $6,000.
And here's also while y'all talking, go to my iPad. Stephanie Rue posted this. This is what's also important. Kamala Harris spoke for 37.1 minutes. Amount of times she spoke, 23. Donald Trump spoke for 41.9 minutes. Amount of times he spoke 39.
Yeah.
What that says is, you ain't got to always be the one who talks.
No, she's cleaned up.
I'm gonna go back to boxing. You don't score points by how many blows, how many swings you take. It's how many connect. She was
Punches landed.
She was efficient in landing, as you said, body blows.
Yes.
And that's a lot of boxers go for the head. No, she said, no, I'm gonna work your body and I'm gonna knock the air out of your ass. And then, and by the time he got, listen, we were 45 minutes in, his ass was
finished.
toast.
It was over.
And I have an
Monique Noah.
18-year-old.
Monique Noah and Mark.
Okay, I have an 18-year-old who's at college.
Right.
And she sent me a message tonight saying, because they had auditions, she's at Baldwin Wallace and Conservatory, and she sent me a picture, and she said, we're all here. We finished our auditions, we're watching together.
Wow.
And then she sent me another picture from a friend of hers, Jackson, her best friend, who's in Pennsylvania, and she sent me the auditorium where they were all watching. And so these are 18-year-olds who can now vote, who were so
in Pennsylvania,
who were so frustrated with us and our votes. And she was writing and she was like, oh my God, the way he's struggling. Why is this even happening this way? Ooh, wow, she killed him. I was getting their responses. But what I learned out of watching them and the way that they were corresponding and the way we were corresponding was this. Everybody, no matter where you enter the political spectrum, understood tonight this was her house.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
And she was letting you say as much as she was letting you say, but she was gonna say her piece and her part. And for what we talked about in the beginning, I think that matters, right? Because it wasn't about the questions, Rebecca. She said whatever she wanted to say. And sometimes she announced it. She was like, well, he did say this, but I'm going to go ahead and say this. The reason why I think that matters the most is because for people who were watching, they were looking for leadership. And they were looking for boss assness, right? and I don't think there's any question about the fact that she gave that.
To your earlier point, you know, when I heard her mention the word weak, and she talked about being an immigrant and, you know, her parents being immigrants. Yes. What landed to me was Emma Lazarus' poem written on the Statue of Liberty. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. So she hit so many important points. Yes, she also hit the biblical points that spoke to, you know, Black Americans. She also hit the points that is written on the Statue of Liberty when, you know, we talk about immigration as if Americans have just now become xenophobic. That is not the case. You know, when we think about the Italians and the Irish that came here, and you know what I'm saying? Like, this is a long, ugly history in our country, and then you add melanin, you add more melanin than some of the Southern Italians, and it's gonna be even uglier. But I think she hit all those notes, and I think it's important to bring history up. You know, I know that, you know, the young brother who was talking earlier about the under 35s, that they don't necessarily respond to the kind of historical narratives in which, you know, maybe people in our age group do and our parents do and our grandparents do. But that moment for me really kind of signified what the Statue of Liberty stands for. That, you know, I'm a descendant of slaves, but this country is mostly built on, immigrants. And I think she hit that too without, like Reese said, so much of what she did was implicit. Yeah. It wasn't necessarily explicit.
And that's okay.
And that was one of those moments for me.
That's
and, you know, my folks didn't land at the Statue of Liberty and have that narrative, but I think she also spoke to those parents, to those people too, and she opened the tent. Right, she broadened the tent of the coalition. She's not a populist like Trump. He doesn't have to appeal to anybody else because he has his base and that's it. Exactly. That's what a populist does. A populist talks to their 30, 40%, that's it. She opened the tent, she broadened the tent, and I think by mentioning that quote, there was so much wrapped up in that moment, you know, weak and wrong. That one small word, weak, it just harkened so many feelings and emotions. And that was the one thing that came up to my mind. Was the Statue of Liberty.
One of the greatest debate moments ever. Henry, go to my iPad. Trust me, in only 5 seconds.
And this former president, and this former president, and this former president.
Whoa, Mark!
That's not planned. She struggled. Like she almost didn't make it. That's improv.
You don't think that was acting?
That was improv. That was improv.
That was not acting.
It was acting in that. It was acting in that it may not have been scripted.
Oh my Lord!
It was not.
Hold on.
She understood how to use.
Oh my Lord! Oh my Lord! White folk about to lose their mind.
What happened?
Lord have mercy. Caitlin Clark liked Taylor Swift's endorsement of Kamala Harris. Oh Lord, the white folk. Oh Lord, MAGA about to lose their damn mind.
It's over. It's over.
MAGA about to lose their mind. Mark, go ahead.
We need the white women.
But that, and that's exactly, you read my mind. That's exactly what I was going to say. And to everything you said, the implicitness, we ought to acknowledge the manner in which she presented herself tonight. It was very genuine and authentic. Nothing was forced. Those natural reactions, people could relate to as the kind of reactions, I would probably react that way. The way she held her arms, everything she said, the way she said it was real for people. And it was like, this is how you reacted. Even the way she looked at him when he was saying crazy stuff.
But Mark, that's again, we're gonna go back to, again, using sports analogies. When you were in rhythm, when you were in rhythm, Michael Jordan, the players never understood. Michael Jordan would put on his headphones before the game, and Michael would literally visualize the entire 48 minutes. He would visualize where he was going to take the ball, which corner he was going. He would literally visualize the entire 48 minutes. If you go back and look at that, from beginning to end, she was completely in rhythm. Toe Run Walker had a tweet where he said that he felt she stumbled on the race question. I'm like, no, she didn't.
No, not at all.
I said, no, she didn't. What she did was, first of all, what she did was she took a breath. See, this is what people don't understand. She took a breath and that breath was, I can respond this way. But let me go here. But the brilliance of how she responded was, because see, here's the whole, remember, she got asked that question by Dana Bash.
She did.
And she went, next question. But this time what she did was, she answered it, and why do we have to question people? But then but you did this.
But this
yes, right.
And you did this, and you did this.
She said we shouldn't have to answer it, but he's a racist.
That's how you operate when you're in rhythm. You're not thrown off. And at no point in 90 minutes did he throw her off. So to your point, that's what was so strong, how she just flowed for the entire, 95, almost 100 minutes.
And in that
Mark,
response,
then Rebecca.
She mentioned the Central Park Five. And Nola, I think...
Which was huge.
Huge. To that 35 demographic.
Convict them again.
See, to that 35 demographic and these black men, you're acknowledging, you already had them at the convention. Wait a minute. She's got brothers who were locked up like me at the convention. She's talking about brothers who were locked up at the debate. One last point on foreign policy. We talked about Palestine and Israel. And, you know, I'm in the movement. A lot of folks are impatient with the Biden administration. You're right, she's still the vice president. But folks, here's a lesson in why she has to speak the way she speaks. African-American electeds and leaders are disproportionately punished for speaking out against Israel. That's our history. As soon as she said, I will let Israel defend itself, his immediate response was, she hates Israel. Because the narrative that has been set up is that we're all anti-Semitic. Right. And they want to paint her with that and tank her with that. Of course. So, but notice, as soon as she said, I will let Israel defend itself, he responded with, oh, she hates Israel.
And then
and the Arab world, too. Yeah.
I mean, the United States solution.
Rebecca, was interesting is he kept going on and on about abortion after the 9th month. This is this is a mean, but this is a mean folks posted. Abortion after birth is called school shooting.
Thank you.
I wish somebody
Amen.
would do that.
Yeah.
There it is.
Well, you know, Mark, to your point, it's not just black elected officials speaking out against the Israeli government. If you are black in this country and you are criticizing the government of Israel, you are labeled anti-Semitic, even though there are a lot of black folks who are of Jewish descent, ethnically, right? So, but that aside, a lot of people are excited. A lot of people are feeling emotion by tonight's debate performance. But we know debate performances don't equal winning the election.
Right.
And so I'm going back to what does it take for Vice President Kamala Harris to win the election?
That's right.
Is tonight enough? You know, if her goal tonight is to do no harm to her campaign, absolutely she excelled. If it's, you know, show that she has competent leadership capability, she excelled there. But now when we're thinking about the people who are voting, and the reason why I'm stressing this is we're in 2024. This is not 2020. This is not a level playing field. The rules are different. There are millions of people who are eligible to vote in 2020 who are not eligible to vote in 2024. When we go through surgical precision and we start to look at the battleground states where those votes are going to matter a little bit more than, unfortunately, votes in other places, that's my concern. Are those people watching? Does this debate performance tonight move them? What does that look like in Michigan? What does that look like in Wisconsin? What does that look like in
it moves them.
You know, doesn't move.
My county it moved Biden all the way off the ticket.
But let's look at actual real-time data. Go to my iPad. CNN's instant poll. CNN's instant poll. Always, baby, go to the iPad. That's how we do this. We put that shit on the T-shirt. Shelly, go to my iPad. CNN's instant poll.
I just run me my percent.
63% believe she won the debate. Trump 37.
It's always
the black woman.
No. Here's what this does. Here's what it does. First of all, tonight drives the next 48 to 72 hours of coverage.
Yep.
Two, I can guarantee you, in the next 24 hours, be the third largest fundraising haul behind the first announcement, behind the convention. You got that. Three, what's gonna happen? And I can guarantee you in 72 hours, we're gonna hear a massive number of volunteers sign up. You already have, again, you already have the Taylor Swift endorsement. That means all those Swifties are about right. They were already together. What I'm saying is they're about to get in formation. The fact that a Caitlin Clark likes a Taylor Swift post, that is going to lead to conversations in the sports arena. So what's going to happen is coming out of this debate, unless something happens internationally or nationally, you're going to see literally folks on Fox News losing their mind tomorrow. Conservative radio is going to be yelling, hollering, and screaming about the debate moderators. And remember, the VP debate is in a week, September 17th. And so now all of a sudden,
which is National Voter Registration Day.
Right. So what I'm saying is, if you look at the trajectory.
Ben Shapiro says ABC's moderators are a disgrace to their profession.
They've all been, trust me, Megyn Kelly, Ari Fleischer. Matter of fact, y'all know I'm petty. Y'all know I'm real petty. Ari Fleischer, go to my iPad, Henry. ABC is making a huge mistake trying to fact check this live. They're only proving how biased they are. Dude, come on. See, again, no, when you don't like fact checking live, that's when you know in trouble. So what I'm laying out here, if you look at the trajectory of this campaign, how the campaign has been flawless. There have been some internal issues, how they've been trying to move people around. Right. But literally outward, it's been flawless. She kills it with this debate.
Kills it.
Here's the deal. I guarantee you, the question's tomorrow. Will there be a second debate? He is not going to have a second debate.
No, he's not going to do it.
No.
Hell no. He is not. His ego.
You think it will?
His ego is so just awful. Second of all,
he's gonna blame ABC.
His people are gonna be like, yeah, we ain't putting your ass up there again. Now they're gonna want to, but if I'm the Harris people, and here's the other thing, he's going to yell for it to be on Fox News. And Harris people should say,
No, absolutely.
hell no. They, after $787 million. So I'm just saying from a momentum standpoint and a structural standpoint. And I'm going to say one other thing. And this is brilliant. And I'm going to say this because she didn't do it in 2019, but she did it tonight. 2019, when they had the debate at Texas Southern University, I said to her and her sister, go out there and before you make your opening comments, pay homage to Mickey Leland and Barbara Jordan.
Yeah.
And she didn't. And I was sitting there like, if you do that, the whole damn room is gonna be on your side. Go back to when she talked about Ukraine and when she said, the Polish community here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
That was a perfect.
And she named the number.
That's my point. That's my point.
Here,
that was a perfect example
where we are.
of how you took an international issue
and brought it
and
home.
you brought that thing. And she said, here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen tomorrow? In all the Polish chat rooms, in all the Polish text messages.
She saw us. She recognized us.
Again, it's one of those things. It's one of those things that people probably overlooked.
Yep.
But Mustafa, I'm telling you, it's one of those things that in a margin election, because they also know he's made it clear, if he takes Ukraine, he coming after Poland. That was brilliant.
Just like Hitler.
By her.
That's right.
Hitler's playbook.
It was brilliant because, like, when we first started this, I mentioned that people want to be seen.
Yeah.
She made sure that folks knew that they are honored, valued, and seen. And that's incredibly important. I know people in Western Pennsylvania and in Michigan and Arizona and North Carolina. And I talk to the folks all the time. And they want to know that somebody has strong leadership. The second thing is they want to know that you understand the dynamics that are going on in their lives and you have a plan to address that. And she answered many of those questions tonight. Even though folks felt that she didn't go deep enough into policy, everyday folks are not looking for a dissertation on policy. They want to hear the exact things that can help me to be able to move forward, help me to be safer, and help make sure that my family is going to be okay. And I think that she hit many of those. And the biggest thing that she did was that she showed that she is the leader for the moment. And that in itself is transformational because we're going to have an honest conversation. There are still people in this country who often think that women don't have the ability to lead. And she is completely, as we know that is a false narrative, but she made sure that anybody who still had that antiquated seed planted in their mind or their soul, that it no longer had a place.
That's right.
Can I just say a couple of things? Number one, there are some structural differences between 2020 and 2024. Number one, we have a Merrick Garland, Kristen Clark, DOJ. That's a massive difference from 2020. We've had legislatures, state houses, the gubernatorial house seats shift in our favor in Arizona and other places. And so there are some structural advantages that we have in 2024 that we did not have in 2020, where it was incumbent upon NAACP and Mark Elias and others to challenge the 60-something lawsuits that Donald Trump lost. Another advantage is Pennsylvania starts voting in 6 days. So if I'm coming off of this, all for the next 6 days, I am banking voters. I am registering people when you strike when the iron is hot. Many states are going to be voting in this country in this month before there could even be a second debate, if there ever is one.
Absolutely.
And so what this does is it reinvigorates the momentum on her side when votes are being cast, when people, before the deadline it is to register in many places. And then the other thing I would say is, can we talk about Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Because all I will say,
Yes,
you talked a lot about what Vice President Kamala Harris did, but to Roland's point that he pulled up, Donald Trump talked more. And I said many times, keep talking. Keep talking.
Me too.
Because one of the biggest disadvantages that we have as Democrats who are opposed to Donald Trump is that people have a fucked up revisionist history of Donald Trump, of where he stands on positions and what he accomplished when he was the president.
He ran through his crazy best.
He did, and not only that, keep talking on student loan debt. You're against it. Thank you for reminding people who want to sit up there and try to make it seem like Biden Harris. Now, she didn't say your Supreme Court justices opposed our student loan debt, which is fine. You know, you don't have to rebut everything point by point.
She did get a ding in. She got them in on something else.
She got her
same
dings
people.
in, but my point is that there are
Supreme
people,
Court justices,
especially there are people that don't understand or don't remember where Donald Trump stands on the issues.
That's true.
And they think that Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris aren't very different, and they think that because at the time gas was a little bit low or our groceries were a little bit lower, it's going back down, that somehow makes him more liberal or more whatever. And so the way that he talked without the distraction, no offense, President Biden, he's a good man, Savannah, but without the distraction of whatever President Biden was going through, it reminded people, oh yeah, Donald Trump is against abortion, Donald Trump is against student loan debt, Donald Trump is against all of these things, healthcare plans, that are what Democrats have been raked over the coals. And then just the last thing that I will say is that the bottom line is Donald Trump is unfit, and Vice President Kamala Harris is a leader.
We look like your mama and Pappy. We're so proud. I'm just saying. We're so proud right now.
Washington Post. I need another water, please. Washington Post. Here we go to my iPad. Washington Post focus group of swing state voters. 92% say Kamala Harris performed better.
Damn. She mollywopped him.
Hold up.
This was not.
No, it wasn't close.
Wait a minute. I gotta find this. I gotta find this other tweet.
This is not that.
Hold up. See, y'all know I love petty.
Pretty girl.
Nira Tandon. I would like to thank Tulsi Gabbard for her role in Trump's debate prep.
I replied.
I love thanks, Lindy. I love that. Wait a minute. Somebody else has sent me a tweet. They said this is what somebody else tweeted. They said this is what happens when you have a Laura Loomer as your debate prep. I mean, see what you saw here, and this is the thing I think, Greg, is critically important. What you saw here was an example.
I'm glad it wasn't me.
What the hell you over there looking at? What you saw here was an individual who said, remember he kept calling her dumb? Yeah. Remember he kept calling her low IQ? Oh, yeah. This is somebody who said, I don't need to prepare for this. I can wing this.
Absolutely.
Greg, that's the student who has to come before the class, who's like, I ain't gotta study. And I'm gonna stand in front of the class, I can wing this. And all of a sudden, they getting their asses lit. That's what this was.
It was. I mean,
that's what it was.
Like you said, Mustafa, he said, thank you. He was shrinking. He's hunched.
He was.
And at the end, you could see him. I mean, but
couldn't look at her.
Yeah. Oh, no question.
Yeah.
I mean, but
y'all go ahead and bring the water. Listen, this is a black show. We just gotta show people.
Right.
Y'all go. Everybody got water. Everybody got.
Thank you, L.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
I love you. Thank you.
But yes,
Thank you.
Greg, go ahead.
Again, and Rebecca, I agree with you. This wasn't the election. All those college kids you're talking about that you're going around the country to see, the ones you're gonna be in Alabama with, the ones that you said,
watching.
Monique,
Yep.
were watching.
My baby.
Your people
Yes.
watching. They have to now go vote. And then all those young people their age and between 18 and 35 who aren't in college, or college age but not in college, who won't watch the debate but are now going to watch all the memes.
Oh,
They're going to watch all the, and of course, like you say with Taylor Swift, I mean, it's an important moment, but, and as you say, Reese, early voting starts in 6 days. Pennsylvania, let's bank. In fact, this is when the state of Pennsylvania to almost try to make November the 5th irrelevant.
Ballots went out in Pennsylvania on Friday.
They did.
So for those who are Pennsylvania residents who are living overseas, Friday is when those ballots were already sent out.
So I'm gonna go back to I'm gonna use another sport. I'm gonna keep it on sports.
Come on.
Well, this was a sport event.
No, but it was again. It's sport because it speaks to what Mark was saying. It speaks to what Rebecca when she asked, "Hey, how will this help?" What's the worst thing you can do if you're a football team and take the Philadelphia Eagles? What did they finish last year? 13-3. And they lost the last 3 games.
Yep. I mean, I'm a Cowboys.
They go to the playoff. We know they suck, so we know your team ain't shit. I mean, first of all, what I'm describing, you used to, and that is no. So what happened last year? The Eagles,
we got Dak for the next several years.
Baby, guess what? And y'all gonna get more first-round losses. So here we go. So I don't even know why you even brought up the Cowboys. The way y'all.
You mentioned he mentioned the Eagles.
Yeah, because both of y'all sucked last year. So here's what happened. The Eagles won like 12, 13 games. Lost the last 3 or 4 games. Losing the first round. When you look at teams, when you look at players, when you look at horses, how do they train them? They say, no, you don't peak early. Mm-hmm. They say you constantly.
That's true.
You constantly, and you build upon what you did last week and yesterday. I'm telling you, you see it in the data. You see how they've been methodically going up among Latino voters. You see how they've been going up among black voters. You see what has been happening with white female voters. You see what is happening when all of a sudden enthusiasm in places like Florida. You see how a poll came out, WRAL, Josh Stein is up 14 points against Mark Robinson in North Carolina.
Oh, interesting.
You're seeing the poll that came out in Virginia. Really? She's up 8. Larry Sabato posted. She's up 8 points in Virginia. Tim Kaine is up 12 points in Virginia.
Right.
What I'm telling you, what you're seeing as each day goes by, you're seeing more people go, "That's Kamala Harris." Yeah. Because all they've heard is this woman don't know shit. Yeah. She don't know nothing. Where she been? And I'm telling you right now, I guarantee you, because I got to remind everybody, go back to 2019, the 2 most viewed town halls on networks was on MSNBC and CNN, and they both involved Kamala Harris. They were the highest watched town hall.
Because she mollywop people like Bill Barr.
No, I'm talking about the town hall. The town hall. But follow me here. This debate.
No, I'm saying before
that. You're going to make your point here. Here's the deal. When the numbers come out tomorrow, I will predict that this will be in the top 3 most viewed debates in the last 20 years. Yeah. So the number of people who were not paying attention, who didn't even watch the June 27th debate, that is what's going to be the game changer, and I believe in the next election. Hold on, Nola, I'm going to go to you, but Nola first.
In one of my buku long threads that I've written about VP, especially around foreign policy, and one of the things that I like to reshare over and over is how she took Bill Barr to task. When Kamala Harris was a senator, when she was taking people to task every other week in Senate hearings, and it was going viral all the time, then all of a sudden she wants to become president, then all of a sudden she becomes stupid. She becomes ineffective, right? But she was the same person who had Bill Barr stucketh. And
the person who was nicknamed back when she was Attorney General, even before then, the female Barack Obama.
That's what
she
I'm
was
saying.
A phenomenon. So
exactly.
She's living that.
But also remember, Karl Rove said, "We got to take her out."
Yeah, he sure did. He sure did.
Remember,
exactly what he said.
Remember, so there was a conversation earlier when Roland was talking to CBC about the work that they did behind the scenes. I don't think people really understand folks that were behind the scenes, putting that sweat equity in, going toe-to-toe with people. Like what you're not about to do is sidestep VP. We're all in for POTUS until he says different.
Right.
But what you're not about to do, remember that conversation we had when you were in Ethiopia?
Yes, absolutely.
Talking, Maxine Waters got up on the edge of that couch right where you were sitting and almost told it all. I think if you had waited 5 minutes.
She said, "Oh, you telling it."
Yeah, she did. I thought she was ready to break it.
Actually, y'all didn't see this. Representative Clyburn already taken his microphone off, and so he started talking to her about something. I was kind of like, Hold up, y'all. Her mic's still on you. Oh yeah. No. It was about to pop. Go ahead,
Let me tell you something about my little community, the national security foreign policy community. We know all the things first. We know all the things
that's why we
first.
should all be terrified of this fascist country. But anyway, go ahead.
Damn, Greg.
I'm just saying. Shit, I mean, we got these surveillance devices from Apple, but did you hear what Nola said? Did you hear what Dr. Hayes said?
In this, my turn.
She said my community got all of y'all stuff.
See, so
that is not what I said. I said we know things first.
here's what I'm going to Monique right now. First of all, it's more than 21,000 of y'all on YouTube right now. Every single one of y'all should be hitting the like button. We should easily be at 15,000 likes before we sign off, and we're going to be signing off very soon. Monique, go ahead with your point.
Nola, when we started tonight, you had things you wanted to hear. Roland had things. Rebecca had things. My girl, I showed you love you. She had things.
Yeah.
Minster, Mustafa, my doctor. I didn't have things. I confess that I didn't have.
Did Scott have something?
Yeah, Scott
he
wanted
did.
her to
Scott had things.
yeah, counterpunch.
He had things, and my thought was,
he did say that.
I really just want her. I just want to thank you for letting me
All right, Sly.
be myself again. I know her. I've been knowing her. You don't get there.
Come on.
Cry.
Come on.
True, come on.
But there's
It's
just
facts.
no way you don't get there without being able to do what she did tonight.
Glory.
There's no way.
Glory.
There's too many people against you.
That's right.
You don't have any money. You got immigrant parents. You go to a fucking HBCU for
And
your undergrad.
Hastings Law. Let's talk about
Hold
that.
on. And Hastings Law.
Yep.
I'm a Howard lawyer. I don't hold it against her. She could have gone to Howard Law. She didn't.
She could have gone to Stanford
She
for free.
went
Well, that was
to the
my
Mecca.
No.
Mecca. She pledged.
Let me stop.
She did all the shit. I'm just saying. Greg, did she do all the shit?
She did all the shit.
No, they got the pictures because listen, I posted, I was gonna tweet a lot tonight, and then I tweeted nothing.
Oh, wow.
Because she came in there, she shook his hand, and then she dragged his ass. She just, she took him and she just said, now what? Like she used, if I've ever been trained as a lawyer, as a debater, she used every word, she used every sequence, and she wasn't referring to notes. None of that matters. Here's what I'm saying. She came in there and she did what only she could. And I did predict that if she would just go in and be herself and do what she could do, because she's the one who has come to these heights. And everybody was saying, and she need to, and she need to, and she need to. And I did right here tonight.
Yeah.
Dr. Greg, did I not say?
Yeah.
She ain't got to do none of that for me. What she's got to do for me
That's what you said.
is be herself.
What you said.
Because what I know about her is she's ready for this. I've had some of her training, not all of it. We share some things in common. But anybody who got undergrad at the Mecca and then got a law degree and then starts winning elections.
Come on.
Do y'all know how hard that is?
No, yeah, right. You're right.
To win in this country, district attorney, attorney general,
Statewide, largest state in the union.
Senate.
Largest state in the union.
The president of the United States, the first black one that y'all don't like, he helped her get that. I don't care. Y'all here in the room with me. I'm not gonna call you out, but he saw her from afar and he named her and he said, yes, she will, yes, she can, and then she did.
And he said she was fine too.
He said it because it's true.
Let's not get too close into the conversation, because then the truth will come out. And
But then she kept rising. But then she kept rising.
Keep it.
And it's unheard of heretofore, before now, the heights that she's reached. But when she was in this debate tonight, when she said weak, when she said disgrace, when she said nobody likes you, when she said crowd size, when she said confused, I think he's confused. When she looked at him with pity, when it could have been anger, when she looked at him with pity, because we all should feel she was worried about him, Greg.
Yeah, she looked like.
Do you see? All I'm saying is,
Can I add one thing?
Hold on.
I'm finished.
You've been going for 4.5 minutes. So I'm trying. Right. Mark, go.
Look, and to add to it, Greg.
Yes.
In this fascist system that we live in, that we know we're struggling against.
That's what I'm saying.
What is also important about her is that we put her there. They didn't want her to be the vice president.
They never wanted her.
She comes from us. We said, no, that's going to be the vice president. They didn't want her to be the president.
Black women. Black women united. Women with black women.
Black women and 1,500 black men in 2020.
Thank you,
They said she's too ambitious. We signed a letter.
What's wrong with that?
No, but I'm saying this.
No, I'm saying
right.
What's wrong with that?
Well, that's what took her off. So you can't in the workplace, you put a woman down for being and call her ambitious. That's sexist. That's discrimination suit. You got to put her in. So she genuinely comes from us, and that's that's not somebody who was given to us.
No.
That's not somebody that the white man picked to say this is going to be your leader. Organically, we said we want her and force them against their will.
I'm gonna tell you something in the background, stuff that was going on in the background.
I don't think that's.
I
think once we get past the election and she wins, then we can go. Because never forget, who was her campaign manager?
I don't know, but what
her
he's
sister,
saying
right?
is true.
Yeah. Her sister's husband is the one that the big lawyer for.
Tony West?
He's the campaign co-chair.
I wouldn't even know that. It's a neoliberal dimension to this, but it's no need to talk about tonight. You got to get over the finish.
Hold on. Wait, Monique, stop. Monique, stop. Allow me to speak. First of all, Tony West was allow me to speak. Okay. First of all, Tony West was Assistant U.S. Attorney General. Yes. He was the number 2. Yes, General Counsel for Uber. And Maya was the campaign manager 2019, 2020. Right. Yes. But over the last 3 years, the person who has literally been traveling the country with her, who has been on Air Force One with her, is Tony West. Right. Tony has taken a lead from Uber, and he literally is the top campaign official. Yeah, you got Jen, but I'm telling you right now, because I deal with him all the time, the role that he has played is a huge role, and he has been by her side constantly over the last 3.5 years.
20 years.
Well, no. But what I mean is, what I mean is, as vice president, and the reason I'm saying that is because, and I'm gonna wrap all this up with my final comment. So I need to make that point because what has happened the last 3.5 years really has been a massive attack on her. So let me do this here. Go to my iPad. Joe Walsh tweeted this. I watched the debate. This is, of course, longtime conservative. I watched the debate tonight with a bunch of Arizona Republicans for Harris. When it was over, everyone in the room knew she won this debate. Everyone was fired up to go knock on doors and make phone calls and go win this thing these final 56 days. Great stuff, Republicans for Harris. So we're gonna do. And so this was the point I was making, Rebecca. The benefit of a devastating win is that it emboldens your team. Yeah. And I just think when you see the numbers in multiple categories of the next 72 hours, you're going to see the fruits of the labor, what happened tonight. Final comments from everyone here. I'll start with Mark.
Well, I agree. She won. This is going to galvanize the base even more people, and more than the base, those who are kind of I won't even say 50% people, those who were in the 60s, you know, I'm not quite there. Yeah. She had to have made an impression. He did nothing. He only appealed to his 47%, which is his ceiling. His strategy, Greg and Mustafa, is to hope that our side doesn't turn out. That's all they can work with. That's all they got. But when you have Taylor Swift and Caitlin Clark and people doing that, it's a wrap. There's evidence she has Michigan and Wisconsin. All right. If that is true, if that's true,
she doesn't. So first of all, we're not even going to articulate that.
No.
First of all, she has no place because voting hasn't taken. So forget any poll. She does not have Michigan. She does not have Pennsylvania. No, the no vote's been taken. We will not know that until November 5th. But go ahead.
Okay, well.
I can't abide by any poll. Because if that was a poll, Hillary Clinton would have been president. Go ahead.
I think she's still a little different from Hillary. But anyway, forget the poll. November 5th, if she wins Michigan and Wisconsin.
You know y'all mic still on. We can hear y'all talking the whole damn time. The audience literally can hear every damn thing y'all saying.
Me, I'll be quiet.
So Monique, do me a favor, shut the fuck up so Mark can talk. Because y'all over here just waste your time. Damn.
You start eating that cupcake.
Well, damn, they can bring her ass a cupcake. Mark finish. Mark finish.
No, you good.
Lord have mercy.
Bring disrespect. It's coming.
Y'all act like y'all mics are off. Mark, go ahead.
Polls notwithstanding. Let's put the polls aside. If she can pull off Michigan, pull off Wisconsin,
no question,
then the math would say we got to look at North Carolina, Arizona, Georgia, and I don't know. I ain't got people voting for Stein and voting for Trump in North Carolina. I just don't. I don't see that.
No.
I also don't necessarily see abortion being on the ballot constitutionally in Arizona and voting for Trump. I think that's a stretch.
Okay.
Florida always breaks our hearts, but it's on the ballot. That's on the ballot too.
It is on the ballot.
So, y'all, I think we're in good shape.
Noah?
From a foreign policy perspective, from a national security perspective, what I saw tonight was a very strong commander-in-chief, where the troops could rally around, who they could say, you know, proudly, this is my commander-in-chief. The fact that admirals and generals recently released that letter supporting her, I think that that's very important. That's nothing to dismiss at all, because a big part of her job will be commanding troops.
That's right.
Most of her job, most of the American public has no idea about. Most of the American public has no idea what happens in a situation room. Most of the American public has no idea the types of decisions that she has to make. Most of the American public doesn't understand the types of laws that are behind our arms transfers, behind a lot of our treaties and agreements. These are the tough decisions that she has to make at 3 a.m., and she's ready to make those decisions.
Amen.
Tonight, I think, you know, the Putins of the world, the Xis of the world, who tries to do this kind of shuffle game, the fact that Trump leans into Viktor Orban as an example, as some sort of leader, as some sort of exemplar, I think that says a lot about where his head is, and it says a lot about the type of people who support him. He didn't say anything about our allies and our partners. He didn't say anything about that. Never. You know, he didn't say anything about what will happen with the 57 countries that came together in support of the Ukraine Defense Coalition that was brought together by VP POTUS and also by SecDef. He didn't say anything like that because those countries don't want to work with him. They do not respect him, right? Now, what I am looking forward to, Greg, to your point, you know, I know that my community, it doesn't get a lot of respect, especially from the Black community, because a lot of the history and what's happened. Right. And I can sit here as a daughter of veterans, as a very proud Black person, coming from a very proud Black city, born and raised in Black excellence. I'm not here to function inside of a fascist government. And I know that a lot of people in my community that look like me, we're not trying to do that. So what's important to us is for VP to understand this kind of new vision. this kind of new vision of national security and foreign policy where we actually stand by our norms and values. And she said that at least 6 times tonight, at least 6 times, that those norms and values, that we lead with human rights first, right? And I know that there are some people, some older heads in the community that may not think that that's advantageous to us, especially when we're competing with China and Russia, who don't care about values, who don't care about human rights. But it's important that in a President Kamala Harris administration, that we lead with that first. I'm not here to be part of fascism. In fact, I see my life as fighting in opposition to that. Yeah. That's why I think Donald Trump is the largest national security threat, and I said that in all of my media hits today, and I will continue to say that because he's a threat to democracy.
Amen.
So what I saw tonight is a woman who's going to stand up to Putin. What I saw tonight is a woman who's going to stand up to the Orbans of the world. What I saw tonight is a woman who's saying, you know what, that's not how I envision the future for the United States of America, the promise of the world. Yeah.
What's that?
She leaned into that.
The United States of America is the promise of the world?
It has been a promise of the world. We haven't reached it.
My God.
We have not reached it. We have not reached it.
I'm just saying, that's...
But what I am saying, and I'm not sitting here trying to waste my time or my life not believing in that.
Wrap it up.
I got you.
I know that I hear you. Okay, I hear you.
Yeah, but we got to go home.
Yes, we do.
Hell no.
I'm sorry, I did that.
Y'all, come on, 30 seconds. Go. I'm put everybody on the clock.
I saw a woman who cares about humans first. She cares about diplomacy first, and that's the woman that I want to support as the President of the United States.
And she made
All right,
us proud.
I saw this tweet. Mark, you already had your final comment, damn it. I saw this tweet. I love this here. This woman said, this is the only way I could watch the debate. Damn, I love this. She covered the split screen up. Oh, shit, that was that. I mean, I just thought that was, I just thought that was funny as hell.
Love it.
So, hold up. And then, damn, I love Petty. Y'all know I'm King Petty. And I love Petty. Before I go to Mustafa next, damn, I love Petty. Congressman Jared Moskowitz, damn, this was good. This debate was so bad, Nancy Pelosi is quietly working the phones to get Trump out of the race.
Not good.
Damn, I love Petty. Damn, I love Petty. Mustafa, go on right ahead, Mustafa.
We address climate change enough? Talk about that too.
Oh,
tonight.
I don't know if you want me to go into that.
Tonight.
Actually, climate change did come up.
It did, yeah.
And when she called him a climate denier. Mustafa, go.
It did. I mean, I want to start off on a very positive note. You know, Vice President Kamala Harris helped us to have a better understanding about the possibilities that exist for us.
Made me cuss.
She talked about freedom around reproductive rights. But if you really listen, she was also talking about freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom of choice. Freedom to be able to have a better life.
Right.
Freedom that allows us to have the ability to come together and not continue to have these divisions that exist. But she also talked about the scars, because you can't have an honest conversation and not talk about the scars. And she brought that up in some of the things that Reese talked about and others from Central Park 5 and a number of the things that Trump had been a part of throughout his life that were rooted in racism. Now, I have to pivot also, because when we talk about climate change and we talk about environmental injustice, we understand that natural gas has played a big role in the impacts that are happening in our communities and the impacts that are happening from the climate crisis. I wouldn't be an honest person coming out of the movements that I come out of if I don't bring that in. Of
course.
But I know her well enough to know that she will also find a way to address those issues.
Okay.
And that's why those investments that have happened in the clean economy are so incredibly important, and why our communities have to take the opportunity to benefit from those so that we address the wealth gap and we address these public health impacts that are going on. So I'm gonna stop there, because I see Roland looking, and I'll close out with this last part since I didn't use my 4 minutes. You know, my grandmother says that you have power unless you give it away. She brought that forward for me tonight, because she was dealing with an individual who bullies people, who uses his privilege to actually push to get his own way. And she said, no, you will not do that here, because I hold on to my power, but I also extend my power to others who have been unseen and unheard. And that's why I appreciate her. And that's why I know so many folks will work diligently with her to make sure that we address whether gaps that might exist inside of the policies that she's working on.
All right, Henry, I need a split screen. All right, so let's see here. Rebecca, your final comment.
So I'm gonna plug Reese's game, Am I Tripping?
Oh, thank you.
So am I tripping? Are we still in the United States of America? Am I tripping? Are we still, how you say, a white, racist, settler state?
Indeed, we speak in it.
Am I tripping? We always have black people who are competent in this country and who are the best in their respective fields, and they don't always get the job. So am I tripping? And the reason why I'm asking that question is this campaign has to run like they're 10 points down. Right. The reason why they have to run like they're 10 points down, North Carolina now says, oh, during the early voting period, you could do same-day registration. But there's a catch. Here's the catch. The state's going to then send you a postcard. You have to follow the directions on the postcard, but if you don't, then your ballot that you already turned in during early voting will not count. So there's all these little trips and things that are going to catch people up and voters going, preparing to vote over the next 56 days. There are a lot of people who are registered to vote, who were registered to vote a month ago, but now they're being kicked off the rolls still. That is still what's going on. My organization is currently doing a lawsuit in Arizona over the Show Your Papers law, right? So there are some people now who are registering to vote in Arizona, but if they don't have a photocopy of certain documents as they're turning in their voter registration, they'll get a federal ballot, but they won't get a state ballot, right? And there's a lot of state races there's a lot of competitive state races that are going on in Arizona. So am I tripping? I know we're so excited about tonight's performance. I know we're feeling the emotion and the euphoria, but am I tripping? Are we not still in the United States of America, which will routinely screw over black people in this country, routinely kill black people in this country? That's what's happening every single day in this country. So if this campaign does not run like it's 10 points behind, this campaign will lose. And I hear what everyone is saying, but am I tripping? But is this still the United States of America?
All right.
Yeah.
Reese.
I mean, no, you're not tripping. It's still the United States of America. However, thank you for the plug at mytripplegame.com, honey. However, tonight is not about the campaign. Tonight is about Kamala Devi Harris. The campaign can't save your ass on that stage. The campaign has been running as flawlessly as anybody could imagine, with the memes, with the voter registrations, with the money raised, all that kind of stuff. But when you on the stage, the buck stops with you.
Yeah.
We can handle the other shit. We've been handling it. All that shit has been there, and we've won. All of the systemic and the racist barriers against black women have been there. Angela Alsterbrooks is our Senate candidate, and not David Jigaboo Slur-saying Trone. Karen Bass is the mayor of Los Angeles, not Rick $100 million lit on motherfucking fire Caruso. And so all of the things about America that have made tonight improbable, we're still here. And now that we're here, Kamala Harris has delivered, and not just a way that knocked Trump the fuck out, but in a way that established her credibility with the people who, I want to know more about her. I don't know, she's just been vice president for the past 3.5 years, but I ain't seen her since we did it, Joe. Tonight established her credibility, and she dealt a very strong blow against Donald Trump's credibility, against the misconceptions about his record and how fucking fabulous people seem to believe it was because they got a couple stimmies. And so now she can go forward with the credibility that she needs to talk to people who don't know her, but now know her a little bit more, and now see her as a competent person, as a commander-in-chief, as a person who is compassionate, who sees them, and as a person who cares about their issues and making their lives better, to which Donald Trump did not have an answer for. And so we could talk about the campaign, we could talk about strategy. We've done all the pre-debate analysis. We're now the post-debate conversation will carry. But what I'm happy about is that she delivered. And now we don't have to spin. We ain't got to say, well, this and well, that. And it doesn't matter how low the bar is for Trump. She has to run her race. And I'm confident with what I've seen tonight, not just as a person who supported her since forever, but as a person who was holding my breath. Shout out to you, Monique, because you said we got it. But I was holding my breath because I have seen her down and where I was pulling an all-nighter to try to rebut some shit. And so now I get to go home and I can sleep like a baby tonight. And so she delivered, and that's something that only she can do. And she's setting the narrative in a way that only this performance could have done for her.
All right, Greg.
Well, I'll say this very quickly as someone who has absolutely no commitment to the United States of America as anything other than the place I came out of my mother's womb. Donald Trump is an existential threat.
Yes.
What he's an existential threat to is becoming more and more apparent as every day passes, because you've got people who are our open enemies. Dick Cheney. You've got people who are our open enemies now endorsing her, meaning they think that she will continue to allow the United States to occupy the position it's occupied in the world. A multipolar world at this point. If they're endorsing her, that means they think she's safe. The money boys haven't jumped off completely. Where's Elon Musk on this? Peter Thiel's got his powder dry. They may abandon Trump now because Trump is not necessary for them to continue to make their money. That's why I mentioned Tony West. You know, ask organized labor at Lyft about him. She's okay. Now, on the other side, in a world that increasingly doesn't look to the United States of America, if they think she's safe, she's been in a better position after tonight than she's ever been in before to be president of the United States. But I agree with you, Rebecca. This is the United States of America. I'm not a nativist. I'm not a patriot. I don't give a fuck about the United States of America. After what it did to my ancestors, I'm the descendant of people who were captured, who are the descendants of people who weren't. And all nations come and go. So I'll end with this. The interesting thing to me about Kamala Harris is, the vice president, is that her background, her parents who met in a radical black study group out there in the Bay Area. Cedric Robinson was a member of that group. New York Times did a long article about it, very interesting. I think Trump tonight telegraphed some of the things they're gonna try to pull on her in the next couple of months because her father is alive. And Donald Harris, if he wasn't a Marxist economist, if you read his work, you say he's a Marxist adjacent, especially if he's writing about Jamaica. And I'm saying, why haven't they pulled him out? They are going to get desperate. But I think the money boys and some of these people who are our open enemies are now saying we're going to go with her. That bodes well for her. What I find my hope, I won't say hope. Hope's too strong a word. What I want to see is more of her being herself, as you say. Because we haven't seen Kamala Harris yet. We get hints of it. Well, no, I don't think so. Because, for example, the two-state solution is absurd. It's absurd on its face. Why? Because there will never be a two-state solution. That means Israel is an apartheid state. When she said Israelis and then Palestinians, what about the Palestinians who were born in Israel who are citizens who will never be able to vote? Jimmy Carter wrote that in the book Peace, Not Apartheid. My point is this, and as I end, my point is this. Kamala Harris, I don't think any of us have seen who Kamala Harris is. When she occupies the Oval Office, then we'll find out the possibilities and the limits of the presidency. Because if she strays out of the straitjacket they're beginning to fit her for right now, we really are going to have to back her. And that would be my hope, that she would stray out of that straitjacket. Because anytime these people start endorsing her, I'm looking like, why in the hell are you endorsing? Wow, you really are concerned about this. Existential threat called Donald Trump. But it ain't to democracy, it's to your business.
So let me say this to close this out, actually, before I do that.
Getting no closing?
Oh, what the hell are you talking about? Your ass closed from 12:25 to 12:30. You went 5 minutes.
He got the clock.
You went 5 straight ass minutes.
It wasn't my close.
Shit, that was your opening and your close. You went 5 straight ass minutes.
He said straight ass minutes.
I'm like, what? Did you? Girl, you better get cussed out.
Cuss me out because I had something else I wanted to say.
Bring her a cupcake.
Okay, hold up.
He bring her a cupcake.
No, hold up. Let me. Henry, go to my. Henry, pull this up. Henry, pull this up.
I'm gonna cry.
Henry, pull this up.
Don't cry.
Okay.
Henry said no because he's striking against the apartheid.
I'm gonna do this one here. Okay, your ass got 30 seconds. Go.
Tonight, we saw the promise of this country, and I am so thankful to do it amongst these people. I'm thankful to be able to watch with you, Dr. Greg, you, Reese, Nola, Rebecca, Minster, all. I wasn't liking what you said
You
tonight,
got 5
but
seconds.
You're still coming on. Roland, she did us proud tonight.
Okay.
And I expect a tomorrow that aligns. I have 42 seconds.
No, you're overtime. Come on. You got 10 seconds. Let's go.
I feel a lot of pressure.
Hell yes, 10 seconds, go.
Thank you for coming. Roland has some important things to say
Thank you very much. Yes, I do. Damn. I told you keep closing like a Baptist preacher. All right, y'all. What did I say about 30 minutes ago? I said, pay attention to the next 72 hours. Henry, hold on. Henry, go to my iPad. In the last 24 hours, they are raising $2 million every 10 minutes.
Wow.
They have raised $12 million in the last 24 hours. But look at the numbers. You see right there at the bottom, 6 p.m., 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's how much they've raised. That all the way to the right, that's the 11 p.m. hour. I told you. So this is what I was trying to say. When you are building a campaign, when you are trying to win, what you are seeing is Vice President Kamala Harris show all of her haters and all of her doubters that this is me. For all of the people who talked about how mistakes she made in 2019, they forget that was 5 years ago. I need everybody paying attention to remember, these folks were trying to get her off of the ballot every 6 months. I need to remind everybody who's watching and listening, these people tried constantly to denigrate her in Politico, in Axios, in the Wall Street Journal, in the New York Times, in every single media outlet. They constantly tried it. They talked about staff turnover. They call her dumb. They said, look at the latest article. Oh, she prepares too hard. Oh my God, she asked me specific ass questions. They literally said that they literally said this woman was incompetent. And let me be clear, there were people in the Biden White House who were behind it. There were people who were scared to death. And so what people need to understand, all the folks who are like, oh my God, where was this Kamala Harris? She was always there. Right. But when you are constantly attacking someone, they begin to doubt themselves. Everybody watching and listening also need to understand, she does not have the freedom like she did as a United States Senator because she serves at the pleasure of the president. She cannot stake her own positions. I'm gonna give y'all this because I was there. The White House approved her remarks in Selma, Alabama, when she addressed the Israel-Gaza issue. They watered down her comments. I'm telling you, I know this for a fact. They were pissed off with her the following 4 days because of the reaction she got. Now, how do you get mad at somebody for a reaction for some words that you vetted, that you wrote? But had what she said caused the other reaction, she would have got to blame. And so folk have to understand what you are seeing from the moment Biden endorsed her to present day is you're seeing somebody who is showing the world now, oh, I was ready. I learned from my mistakes. I paid attention. There are so many areas where she has gotten better. Understand, every time y'all heard her spoke, that was words that were written by other people, that were vetted by other people. She now has the freedom, because she's running the campaign, to actually write her own speeches, lay out her own policy. She doesn't have to run it by the Biden White House. She don't have to run it by Anita Dunn. She doesn't have to run it by Even she doesn't have to run it by Jen O'Malley, even though she's campaigned. But Jen O'Malley, everybody remember, was working also in the Biden White House. So she's now unencumbered. And so there were two speeches that I need everybody to go back to. Go listen to Vice President Kamala Harris when she spoke in Buffalo at the funeral of one of the black people who was gunned down. She was not supposed to speak. Sharpton called her up to the pulpit. She spoke with no notes. And you heard the Vice President Kamala Harris, who we remember at the Tavis events and all the other speeches. Then pull up when she spoke at Tyree Nichols' funeral. And although that was written, it was written by her. And you saw and heard a totally different person. That was always her. And then the third one, go listen when she went to Nashville on that Friday. The day after Representative Justin Jones, Representative Justin Pearson were expelled, and Representative Gloria Johnson was not expelled. You saw the fire, you saw the energy, you saw the passion. That was always her. And so black folks, we were participating in a white supremacist game by tearing her down, questioning her blackness, questioning her credentials when it was always there, but folk didn't understand because you never could see who she actually was. So now moving forward, some 59 days, everybody who's watching and listening need to understand this here. And this is why I had to push back, Mark, on what you were saying. Because I cannot allow anybody who is listening to believe it's over. It's not. People took their foot off the gas in Florida on the final weekend, and Andrew Gillum lost by 30,000 votes. Hillary Clinton's campaign, they were sitting here, they were measuring their drapes in the last 2 weeks of the campaign, and they took their foot off the brake. No, what we have to do is tell everybody, and if y'all can find that video, y'all remember the video where the dude starts celebrating, and his ass, and he taunted the brother next to him, and his ass tripped and fell down? That's the same thing's happening. We cannot say she's guaranteed to win any state. This is about running through the tape. This is about seeing the clock 0, 0, 0. So I don't care where you are, what is your job, check the registration date in your city, in your state. Check with everybody you know. Don't let their ass come to your house for dinner. That's right. Women, tell them you ain't getting none. Fellas, tell them you ain't giving up none unless your ass registered. Go to iwillvote.com to make sure you have not been removed from the voting rolls. And after you make sure, and then after the registration date is passed, then you find out, do you have early voting in your state? Yes, sir. And then you vote that first week of early voting. That's right. And then if your state doesn't have early voting, then you lock and load on your plan for election day. Yes, sir. She has not won. She won a debate. She has not won the election. If you went hard yesterday, go harder tomorrow. It's less than 60 days. And so we can all rejoice November 5th at 2 a.m., November 6th at 2 a.m. But we cannot play any games right now in assuming she's won anything. Can she win Michigan? Yes. Can she win Pennsylvania? Yes. Can she win Wisconsin? Yes. Can she win Georgia? Yes. Can she win North Carolina, Arizona, Georgia? Hell, they can actually win Florida. But it cannot happen if folks sit on their ass and assume this race is over. And so that's going to be our position moving forward. We want to thank everybody who's been with us. We hit as many as 24,000 watching live tonight. Amazing viewership. Want to thank all of our panelists. Want to thank all of the CBC members. Want to thank the staff, everybody. I told y'all, ain't nobody else in black-owned media doing anything like this tonight. And let me go ahead and name them because I don't care. I'm telling y'all right now, what you saw tonight, Essence ain't doing, Black Enterprise not doing, Ebony not doing, Urban One not doing, Revolt's not doing, The Griot ain't doing this. No, all them other people, they may have been on for an hour or two, but they ain't doing this. This is. Oh, hell no, hell no, hell no. I told y'all. And everybody understand. Y'all, we had 15 CBC members here, and we had the first panel, we had 7 more. I was trying to go to them, but they went ahead and left because they were here for quite some time. Why am I saying that? Because what y'all saw tonight is what happens when you have black-owned media that controls and operates, and we set the agenda. And so we want y'all to be sure to support what we do. Go ahead and put it up. You can be sure to support us. Send your check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037-0196. Cash App, $RM Unfiltered. PayPal, R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. And, of course, download the Black Star Network app. Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. We're going to have more coverage tomorrow. We're going to be talking to the sister who's from Florida, represents the 20th Congressional District. She's Haitian. She's the first Haitian American in Congress. We're going to be talking about the attacks on Haitians and what's being said right now among the we earlier said 300. There are 400,000 Haitians in Florida. And so that's a perfect example. If the Haitians are mobilized in Florida after these attacks, they could win Florida. Y'all, it's all about the numbers. And so we got to understand exactly what those numbers are. And so, again, we appreciate everybody. And I'm always, again, just trying to tell our folk that, you know, we can't be lackadaisical about what is going on. We have to understand that we all have to do our part. And I don't care if you sitting here and you're like, well, I don't know about all that. I'm telling y'all right now, we can win this. And the threat of Donald Trump and these crazy, deranged, nonsensical MAGA people, that threat is real. We cannot lose sight of any of that. So I just want all of us to be focused. It's 59 days, y'all. That's all it is. It's 59 days. And trust me, we can celebrate at the end of it, but you do not celebrate too early. I'll see y'all tomorrow on the Black Star Network. Holla!